Well, quite clearly, when it comes to the budget, the government inherited a mess. We've made a good start. There's much more to do, but we are on the right track. And we are determined to create more prosperity and more jobs for the Australian people. I want to say to you today that we are facing external headwinds during the course of this year. Those headwinds in particular are related to what we expected to be the iron ore prices for the forecast in the budget. 12 months ago, iron ore was at $120 a tonne. There were market expectations it would fall to $95 a tonne. We budgeted $92 a tonne. It's currently $63, and we are forecasting that it will remain around $60 a tonne for the foreseeable future. That more than 30% fall in iron ore prices has had a big impact on the budget, as has a 15% fall in thermal coal and a 20% fall in wheat prices since the budget. As a result, the forecast decline in the terms of trade this year is the largest since records were first kept in 1959. The government has decided to use the budget, which is stronger than it was 12 months ago, as a shock absorber for the biggest fall in our export prices in many years. If we don't use the budget as a shock absorber for this extraordinary fall in the terms of trade, then Australians will lose jobs and we'll lose our prosperity. So this year it has been essential that we have strengthened the base of the budget. The underlying budget position is much stronger than it would have been if Labor were re-elected. Most significantly, despite the Labor Party opposing and blocking tens of billions of dollars of budget initiatives, the budget is able to cope with these external headwinds. Now, it wasn't for nothing that we abolished the carbon tax and associated expenditure. It wasn't for nothing that we abolished the mining tax and associated expenditure. And it wasn't for nothing that we made difficult but important decisions to make sure that expenditure in health, education and welfare was sustainable. Because if the budget can be used as a shock absorber for external pressures, then we can continue to maintain momentum in the domestic economy. As my budget statement will say tomorrow, we expect growth to remain around 2.5%, but strengthen to 3% over the next few years. We expect unemployment to continue to grow, obviously to levels that are a tick higher than what we forecast in the budget. But this year we have seen a significant improvement in job creation. This year we've seen job creation run at 3 times the speed of last year. That's hugely important. If we had the same settings as the last year of the Labor Party in government, unemployment would be at over 7% and more than 110,000 Australians would not be in a job. And most importantly, going forward, what we are going to see is a strengthening of the Australian economy as a result of initiatives from this government. Importantly, we're going to see the rollout of significant infrastructure right around the country, which is going to help to address some of the employment needs, particularly in construction and a range of other related areas. We are going to see a significant increase in the number of houses and units constructed in Australia over the next 12 months. And importantly, we're going to see new opportunities through free trade agreements. So next year will be stronger than this year, and the year after will be stronger after that. Having said all of that, it is important that we allow the budget to continue to be a shock absorber. And I say to the Labor Party, the Greens and the Independents, if you want to see the Australian economy cope better with the challenges that are beyond our control. Work with us to strengthen the Australian budget. Do not continue to provide mindless opposition to the budget initiatives, because ultimately it reduces our capacity as a nation to deal with some of the headwinds that we are facing.